And welcome everyone to Transformational Tuesdays. I'm Teresa Velardi, your host for this time of inspiration, education, motivation, and conversation focused on key ingredients necessary to create positive change in our lives, which I call transformation, and I'm sure you do as well. We are all on a transformational journey, and whether you are aware of it or not, you are transforming. And if you were not, you wouldn't be hearing the sound of my voice or be part of this call. So we're all in this process, and as life is part of our life journey, it's one thing that's always happening. It's change. So I am excited to be able to bring to you today Dr. Julia Bowlin, and let me just tell you a little bit about her. Julia Bowlin, MD, is a physician, author, speaker, and educator who is consistently voted one of the nation's top family doctors by the Consumers Research Council of America. The International Women's Leadership Association has also declared her a woman of outstanding leadership. When Dr. Julia isn't working with patients on developing their conscious awareness and strengthening their emotional intelligence when it comes to illness detection, prevention, and treatment, she instructs students at the University of Dayton and Marietta College as an associate clinical professor of medicine, and also serves as the director of allergy practice at the Family Health Services of Darke County in Ohio. And I am so excited to bring to you Dr. Julia Bowlin. Hi, Julia.
Hi.
Hi, I'm like so glad that you came here, because especially I was talking with one of our viewers today, and you know, part of the process of becoming in touch with who we are is loving all of us, like the whole part of us, body, mind, spirit, and whatnot. And I know that part of what we're going to talk about today is PAWAR. It's spelled a little different, PAWAR, and the power of you. We're going to talk about what that means. This is what Dr. Julia calls your prescription for healthier, wealthier, and wiser you. And many people struggle with wellness issues like emotional chaos. And if you have any of these things in your life, just raise your hand. Emotional chaos, depression, self-neglect, obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, or just feeling lost and not following through on activities and goals that you so desperately want to achieve. Many find themselves saying, I'm trying to do better, eat better, perform better. I know what I need to do and how to do it. I'm just like hearing this conversation in my head, like how many times I've said this myself. Okay, so this call is for me as much as it is for each one of you, so I'm excited about this. I'm trying to do better, eat better, perform better. I know what I need to do and how to do it, but I don't know why I'm not doing what I need to do to feel better, think better, and act better. Now, I know that you also recently developed a new program that we're going to talk about today called From Fatigue to Fantastic. And these are kind of questions you want to ask yourself. Are you feeling tired? Tired of feeling tired? Do you spend so much time helping others that you're just completely tapped out? Are you too familiar with a flabby body, foggy brain, and just overall fatigued? Let me tell you something, Julia. I am more than ready for this conversation. So first, let's talk about PAWAR. Let's talk about what that is. PAWAR. Write that down, ladies. And why it's important. So let's start there.
All right. Well, PAWAR is an acronym that I developed because in my medical practice, after 22 years of seeing patients and over 100,000 patient visits, I realized that most people knew what they should do to be healthy. And most people knew kind of how to get the information that needed to be there. It's like exercise and diet, or get online and get your information. And again, they just didn't understand the why behind the failure. And I kept processing it. What is it that I can do as a physician and with my background in socioanthropology to help people understand what it is that makes them tick, what it is that makes them not tick? So what's the process of maybe fear that's holding them back, or core values in their past? So I came up with another session of medicine called Personal Awareness Medicine. And the thing is personal awareness medicine isn't anything new, but it is something that most physicians haven't had or haven't been able to take the time to do. It's that gap between what you want to get from your doctor, but you don't quite need a therapist. It's understanding what's going on in your head, maybe unraveling those negative emotions such as hate and shame, blame, fear, and regret. So personal awareness medicine came about, and then suddenly I thought, you know what, I need to get a trademark on this because I'm teaching it now in medical schools as well. And that is PAWAR, P-A-W-A-R, and that simply stands for Personal Awareness and Responsibility. It's just an acronym that we're now incorporating into the medical field to help fill that gap, to understand the failure behind people's diseases, what it is that's keeping them back.
Okay, and personal awareness and responsibility, write that down, PAWAR. So why are you so passionate about this and the way that you help people in the way that you do? I love what you said about personal awareness medicine. I know a lot of people in my life, they go to the doctor gives them pills and go lay down or whatever the case may be. I think in today's day and age, people are not looking for the pill and the go to bed. They're looking for, like, how can I live my life better? And I know that you're really passionate about this. So let's talk about your journey and why it is so much of a passionate purpose for you.
Okay. Yeah, well, I would say I'd have to break that down into both personally and professionally.
Okay.
So from a professional standpoint, I was just getting frustrated when I would leave a room knowing that a patient wasn't going to follow through and not knowing why. And my patients would leave the room feeling, well, I know what I should do, but I don't know why I don't do it. And so that professionally is why I created the program. But personally, why I'm so incredibly motivated to help people fill that gap between where they are now and where they want to be or where they need to be, is that I understand what it feels like to be a little divorced and from yourself. Divorced from yourself, not understand what it is that you need, not understanding why your needs and capabilities are being held back. And I understand that because at one point in time in my life, I really struggled with an eating disorder. I struggled with depression, had multiple suicide attempts before the age of 18.
Oh.
And I was a severe self-abuser. So I know what it feels to have this mental chaos, this confusion between how we're thinking, how we're feeling, and how we may or may not be behaving. And so my professional degree in socioanthropology and then getting my medical degree, these are all coming together to this point where I feel at this time in my life that I want to be able to understand and help other people understand what's making them tick. Finding out where they want to be, where they are now, what it is in that gap, and how can we get there. So it's a combination of sort of life coaching, physician coaching, therapy, but it's so many of us, each and every one of us really need to have somebody in our corner to be our cheerleader, to ask those difficult questions, to get in your face every once in a while when you need it, maybe a little boot in the backside, or maybe just a hug on the other side. So I really felt like that is where I want to be. There's a lot of stories in the background that Teresa knows about that has led me to this. So maybe you want to go that direction?
Sure, go. Let's keep going. Let's talk about at least one, and then and we'll go from there.
Okay. So just guide me and shut me up if I get going on too long of a tangent.
I've got my pen out, taking notes. Keep talking.
So, today I'm extremely grateful and very, very blessed to have an awesome medical practice and a husband who loves me and 2 kids in college, not in spite of me, but maybe, just maybe, because of me, that they're thriving. And I have an awesome house, and I feel very flattered and honored that I'm as successful as I am because of what I've been through, not in spite of what I've been through. And so I alluded to it already that before the age of 18, I had 3 suicide attempts. And I was really struggling because of horrible eating disorder. And when I say self-abuse, we're talking not the small stuff. We're talking hammers and nails and lighters and some pretty nasty stuff. Because at that time, when my emotions were so out of control, I was so disconnected with people, and I did not relate with people. I hid my emotions. I held them inside. I didn't share what I was feeling, and I did not connect authentically with people. So I just got to the point where I was done. I was just 100% done. Nobody knew the amount of chaos that was going on in my brain. I was a straight A student, and I was a top-level gymnast, and nobody had a clue. And I was at Ohio State, and I knew this was my last day. I was done. I knew where the gun was, and I knew where the bullets were.
Oh my goodness.
And I was walking across campus knowing it was going to be my last time. And I stopped at Mirror Lake, which, by the way, isn't really a lake. It's really a pond. But I stopped, and I sat down, and I looked at my reflection. And what I saw in that reflection was disgust, hate, shame, ugly. That's all I can tell you. Just so much pain, so much anger, and so much unhappiness that I was 100% done. And suddenly, I felt this pop. And suddenly, I was no longer by that Mirror Lake. I was in a beautiful white room with a gentle gold light. And I realized I felt none of that negativity, none of the weight of those emotional anchors. And I was enveloped in a cloak of true, unadulterated love and acceptance. Something I had never felt up until this point. Now, I know this sounds a little woo-woo, and I want you to realize something. I was not woo-woo or spiritual up to this point. I didn't go to church. I didn't believe in God. I definitely believed in the devil and the evil side of people because that's all I had ever experienced. And I had horrible nightmares having to do with face eaters and aliens and werewolves and vampires, and every night was a screaming, bloody murder affair. So I really felt deep. So to be in this incredible space at this white room and realizing that I was in my true state, I felt the words, "What a wonder you are." And I remember thinking, me, me a wonder, but I didn't have all that negative stuff. So I thought, well, I do feel like a wonder right now. And I was given a choice. And the choice was, you can stay here now. You do not have to follow through with your plan. But I'd like you to look at something first. And I was given a life review from the point I was born until that present moment. And I was seeing myself far above, without all those negative emotions that we go through in this life. I was seeing myself in a form of a light, and I was watching that light expand and contract and change with each lesson and each person and each growth point, whether it was joyful or horrifically painful. I was witnessing that. And to see that was just incredible without all the feelings that I felt when I was living. And then I was back in the room, and I felt those words again. Do you see what a wonder you are? And I just remember thinking, wow, yes, I do. And the question was, do you want to stay? Because you can stay right here, right now, for a while or forever, or you can go back. Now, I'm not stupid. I was done. The last thing I wanted to do was to go back to that pain. So I was like, no, I'm done. Then I was given another choice. And that was, would you like to see what life would be like if you stayed? Well, again, I was done. I had absolutely nothing to lose. I was like, sure, that sounds, yes. And what I saw was me at a much older age. And the cool thing about that, I was still the same weight. 30 years from that point, if you know you're going to be the same weight, that's pretty awesome. So I saw myself on a stage as if I was watching a camera, or I was the camera. And on that stage, I was crying. Now, keep something in mind. I never cried. I never shared, and I never connected deeply with people to this point. Because at age 12, I made the decision that to share my feelings was weak, that reaching out for help meant more pain. Because when I did, I got slapped around and told everybody hurts, get over it, Everybody's in pain, and don't ever embarrass anybody by sharing what you're going through with anybody else again. So that led me down that path of holding all my emotions in and not sharing. And I never ever felt like I belonged to anybody, any crowd, any person. And I constantly had that inner feeling that nobody really knows me. I don't fit in anywhere. And it was because of all the coping skills that helped me to survive. The eating disorder and the self-abuse, it sounds awful, but it was my coping mechanism. It's what enabled me to survive amidst all the craziness that was going on in my head that nobody knew, that I faked to the make every second of the day. And it was exhausting. So to be in that space, in that white room, seeing myself on stage, crying, then the camera panned, and it panned out to the audience. And they were crying.
Wow.
And what I saw after that was just amazing. Every person in the audience's light was growing and shifting, coalescing and expanding. And when they looked at each other, their lights connected and shifted and grew. And then the room started coalescing and shifting and expanding. And I get chills and I come to tears almost every time I tell this story.
Chills too.
Because what I can only say is that I witnessed the truth of the soul. And then I saw that light come to me. And it wasn't me on the stage shoving light to people. It wasn't that. It was everybody sharing and acknowledging our individuality, our individual pain, and our individual capacity to help each other in our authentic state. I never saw the words that I spoke, and I never heard the words. I just know I was on a stage, and I witnessed what it was like for me from birth to 18. And then I was witnessing the impact of sharing our stories, our lessons, and our growth with other people, and how it can impact other people positively. And then I was brought back to the white room. And before I could say or think anything, I heard, "Now, do you see what a wonder you are?"
Oh my.
And before I was even given the choice to stay or go, I was already back in my body. And this time, when I looked into Mirror Lake, I saw hope. And I saw capacity. And I saw the ability to change myself and those around me. So now that I'm crying on camera.
No. Oh my goodness. You want to talk about authenticity, which is, oh goodness, Julia, I have chills all over me. Thank you so much for sharing that experience, because I don't know how many people have ever been in that place of, you know, done. I'm done. Like, I'm just done. And to be given that gift of foresight and you know, and acknowledgement is just like, and better yet, to not have any spiritual belief at the time that it happens. What a gift you got, and really what a wonder you are. Absolutely. Oh my word. I'm just so taken by this. I don't even know what to say to you. But one of the things that you did say that I wrote down while you were talking was that when you expressed how you saw people in the audience and how they were sharing their light, that's what this community is about. That's what the work that you do is about. It's about helping each other to show up who we are authentically. Each one of us is individualized. Each one of us has our message. Each one of us has our assignment, if you will. And I think that you have really stepped up to the plate with your assignment, Julia.
Thank you.
along the way during this, before I start crying now, can you talk about how and why you authored your book? Your book title is To Me I Thee Wed, Love, Honest, and Cherish Yourself Forever. What made you decide to write that? And what is one thing that people are going to learn when they read your book?
Okay. Well, after I got back into my body, the changes weren't easy. It wasn't like instantaneous healing. I had to work. I had to actually reach out for help and to ask people for assistance. I had to go to therapy. I learned. I was never a reader. I never finished a single book, and I'll never forget when I came across Leo Buscaglia. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of Leo Buscaglia or seen his book.
Leo Buscaglia.
He was like a self-help guru, and I had never been exposed to that before. And I knew when at 18 that eventually I was going to be doing what I'm doing now, because I saw it. And I saw it deep down inside my soul, bar none, no doubts in my mind. The question was, how the heck was I going to get there? And so I had to admit to people that I was struggling. I had to get the help that I needed. So that's one of the reasons. Number two, I have studied socioanthropology, which is basically societies and cultures and the impact that our cultures have on individuals, on how we see things, how we behave, how we think, how we process. And I've always been kind of thinking about that. How does the culture, how does my life experience impact me? How does your life experience impact how you see the world, how you respond, how you think? And that's always been in the back of my head. And just knowing that there's got to be a way that we can deep dive with people in safety and yet not pull them back every time we do it. Like sometimes in therapy, it just pulls you back. You just feel this constant pullback and you feel like you're never getting anywhere. But when you do this kind of transformative work that I'm doing, I don't see that. I don't see people going into total chaos in this process. I see them recognizing, acknowledge, because I know you can review your life without pain, but yet learn those lessons. So I finished a manuscript, a book called Broken Bones, Soaring Soul. And I had it completed, but it still needed a lot of editing. And I just, in my gut, it just wasn't, one day I'll publish it, but it just wasn't the book. It wasn't what I wanted to get out there right away. And I went to my nephew's wedding. And he was an older man. He was 30 when he got married. And he screwed up his wedding vows. He did royally. Instead of saying, to thee I wed, he said, to me I thee wed. And we busted out laughing. And yes, I had that spiritual experience, that unsolicited experience. But, there are definitely times in your life, I'm sure you've each felt, where you knew something came in you. You either heard it or felt it, or you had that voice that you knew that you were being directed to some direction for some reason. Mm-hmm. And literally, the wedding disappeared. I became very small. I became very aware of what I was thinking. And bells went off in my head. And it was, that's it. That's the book. And without even thinking twice, I got kind of manic. I can be kind of a go-getter when I put my mind onto something, like a little dog with a bone. And within like 2 weeks, I was just like processing how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to write this book, because I knew that To Me I Thee Wed was the name of the book. And the whole thing about learning how to love, honor, and cherish yourself forever after. It just was a divine plant that rolled out of my mind onto paper. Now, it took me a year to write the book, to finish it, but the concepts were there. And the whole basis behind the book is, when you're out and about and you're developing relationships with other people, you might meet them, you connect with them, you look in their eyes, you might unfortunately make some snap judgments. You come up with ideas. That's how you interact. And you finally, maybe you go, I kind of like that person. Maybe it's the next time, maybe we'll have coffee. Let's sit down and talk. So you get to know them a little more, and you start realizing, I like to hang out with them more. And if it's a person that you're interested romantically, you might even go deeper. You might start spending more time together. You might think about intimacy, might fall in love, might even get engaged and married. Mm-hmm. And I realized that that is what is missing so often with ourselves.
Mm.
We get to be adults, life gets in the way, family becomes a priority, work becomes the end all be all of success. And suddenly we wake up one day where we're 30 or 40 or 50 or 60, and we think, who am I? What do I need? What happened to all my dreams? And we suddenly realize, crap, I don't even know what color I like, where I want to live, let alone how can I be the best me before I become a we. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my book really, I don't know if you can you see the cover? Kind of.
Yes, yeah. yes. Beautiful.
So it's all about the single wedding band. It's all about learning how to love, honor, and cherish yourself. But the thing is my book isn't just about reading. It makes you stop and think and do the exercises. Because how often do we read a book and we put it down? And we listen to a tape and we put it down? How often do we dive in, implement, activate, actuate our true potential? We think about it, we want it, and I strongly believe that when we embrace change in ourselves, change for the positive, that we are embracing our potential. And I have seen people's potential in the form of light, and I know it grows and it changes. And I know self-care isn't selfish. Self-care is expected. It's not okay to neglect a child. Do you all agree with that?
Yes.
It's not okay to neglect an ailing adult. Yeah? Why is it okay to neglect yourself, ignore your needs, and not take care of what you need to think clearly, feel vivacious, and connect more deeply with people? It's expected of you. That's why you're here.
Mm. Huge. Huge. Let's go there for a second. The self-care, and it's not selfish. It's self-full. Friend of mine says, fill up your cup, because you fill up your cup and you give through the overflow. It's like, and she likens it to one of those champagne fountains. You know, like all the cups, all the glasses are towered up, and you pour the champagne into the top glass, and it cascades down into the other glasses in the pyramid, and it fills everything. But the key is the first one has to be full to overflowing. So what I like to say to people when this conversation comes up is, picture yourself as the champagne glass at the top of that tower, and give from the place that you overflow. And in order to be able to do that, you have to fill your cup and really be diligent about taking care of yourself. Just like the oxygen mask on the plane. Put the oxygen mask on your face first before you help anyone else. So do you have any tips that you can give people in this arena on certain things that they can do, and to be self-aware and to be able to give themselves that time?
Yeah.
Just a couple. Let's just talk about a couple of things, give people ideas, because, you know, one thing I want to say before you go there, Julia, is, you know, a lot of people say, you have to love yourself, you have to love yourself, you have to love yourself. And if people have no idea how to do that,
yeah, you get nowhere.
Like stuck. It's like, okay, all right, so what does that mean? And then again, we're in the same place of trying to figure it out on our own. And you gave some really good suggestions. Reach out, get some help. I think your book is one of the best ways to do that. So let's talk about that for a little bit, how things we can do, and how it is that we can come to a place where we can actually learn how to love ourselves.
Well, I think first and foremost is recognizing that you're valuable. You truly have a depth of love and value, and you're worthy. And I believe doing some worthy exercises is really important.
What does that look like? What does that look like?
Well, let me think about that.
Okay.
If I came up to you and I gave you $10 and I said, I want you to take this because I think you're worthy, you might go, okay. But if I came up to you and I gave you $100,000 and I said, I want you to take this because I know you're worthy. You might go, what do I owe you now? What do I have to give you? You know? But if I came up to you and I gave you $1 million and I said, this is a free gift for you to stop everything you're doing right now and to live a perfect life, what does that make you feel like?
A couple of things. What did I do to deserve this? And oh my God, this is so awesome. And then for me, the first thing, okay, who else can I help? Who am I going to give it to? I'm forever giving it away, you know?
Mm-hmm. So, you know, the first thing is what did I do to deserve this?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the first thing you think of. Okay, hang on. You know, what did I do? What do I have to do? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So just think about life on those terms. I'm not sure if that's a best example, but I just want you to think about so many of us don't feel worthy of taking the time. So I want you to make a list right now. Just take 10 seconds and just write 10 things in your perfect world. What would you like to have? Like physically, material. What material? New car, new house, new clothes, new shoes. Write that out.
Okay.
You can really go crazy on this. You could have a house. You could own an island. Literally think big. Think as big as you possibly can imagine.
Private jet.
Jet, so you can travel. These are material things that most of us, we're never going to get them, so we don't even let ourselves imagine the vision of having those things. Now, this is not a bad thing. Thinking about the concrete things you want to have around your life isn't a bad thing, because it enables you to start visualizing maybe what kinds of things do I need to do to get there. Now, let's think about the mind, right? I know for me, if I made a list of things that I want going on in my head, it would be peace, right? Clarity. So think about things that you would like to have going on in your head. In your perfect world, how would your brain be feeling and thinking?
That's, that's a really good question. You said two of the top ones: peace, clarity, love, compassion. That's what the other two I added quickly to that list.
So this is an exercise you can do, and I encourage you to do on every part of your life. Your health. Make the top things you would like to have for your health. Is it more energy? Is it less flab? Is it to get rid of the foggy brain? Make the top, and you have to put what you want down on paper. Folks, if you don't write it down, it's not concrete. We say it all the time. So I want this, I want that, I think this, I think that. But until you see it on paper, I want this. And then I'm here. So if I'm here and I want this, what's in the gap?
Wow.
Right? What's the gap? What's holding that gap back is if I want to be healthy, for example, if I want to lose weight, and I'm going to tell you, I don't like people to say they want to lose weight. I tell people I want them to get healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are programmed on our brain. When we start thinking we want to lose something, our brain kind of goes a little panicky. So don't think about losing things. Think more about, I would like to gain more energy. I would like to gain less pain in my body. I would like to gain more flexibility, those kinds of things. So make the ultimate list out of what you want in all areas of your life. How you think, how you feel, what you'd like to attain in your job, in your work, and think where you are now. Unless we visualize and imagine, and I'm sure you folks have talked about this and heard other speakers talk about this, I cannot tell you the difference in my life when I started visualizing the expectation and assuming that expectation will be met. Not this is a big woo-woo out here, I can never have a private jet. No, it's assuming that will happen and making the connected dots from point A to point B. A simple example of that is anytime I go to find a parking spot, I assume there's an open spot where I want it to be. And there is. There is. Does it not work, Teresa?
It does. And then the key after that is to thank God for it. I thank God, thank the universe. I pull into the parking spot. Thank you, Jesus. It happens. And every, I affirm, I always get a good parking space. I always get a good parking space. And I always do. And I'm thankful for it in the end. The gratitude piece is so key in this whole thing, because what it says there, and that's my hot button, gratitude. So what I believe it says to God, the universe, whatever you call your higher power, is thank you so much. I love this. Give me more.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I always get a good parking space. Good example. Oh my goodness. I have to let you know, first of all, we're beyond the half-hour mark. If anybody has anything they want to say, share, questions they want to ask Dr. Julia, if you're on your phone, press *9 on your phone, and I will recognize you. If you're visible to me and you want to raise your hand, either physically or by pushing the button on the bottom of your screen, go right ahead, because we want to hear from you. This is an incredible conversation. I am just so happy that you shared that really tender experience that you had, that life-changing gift that you got to see, to make a choice, to make that choice at the time that you were going to make a completely different choice. You were intending to end it all, and you got a picture of what life would be like without you, and so many people. And I think that, oh my goodness, I've got so many things that I want to say to you. I don't even know where to start. But I'm not going to take up the time by telling you all this stuff I want to say. But you also just told me that you've got something that you're working on. It's called Fatigued to Fabulous. And I'm sure you've got some things that we can that you can share with us that will give us a little bit of information about that program, which we're going to talk about a little bit now. And then I know that you're going to offer people the opportunity to go ahead and get involved in that program. So what are some of the things that I started with the questions when we talked about what we're going to talk about? Are you tired of feeling tired? Do you spend your life helping so much time that you're tanked out? And this goes directly to what we were just speaking about just a second ago, about taking care of yourself first and people from the overflow. So let's talk a little bit about this program and what can we do besides what we just talked about that will help get us out of that rut.
Okay. Yeah, my Fatigue to Fantastic program is an 8-week program where I meet once a week, either on a Tuesday night or a Thursday night, and we go over deep dive issues associated with mental fatigue, spiritual fatigue, emotional fatigue, and all the different things around that. Either I will be speaking and or creating slide decks, or I will be bringing in experts depending on the week. And in addition to that program, you'll get a 1-hour deep dive with me where we kind of figure out exactly where you are, what are your disturbed areas in your mind, body, and health, and how can we come up with a plan to get you to there. And then so you'll have the evening course, you'll have the deep dive 1 hour with me, and then you also have access to my online PAWAR course, Prescription for Healthier, Wealthier, and Wiser You. And those are mini videos between 2 and 13 minutes each, going over very specific topics with questionnaires and worksheets attached to each one of those.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So, and just so that we know, so people can start thinking about that, what's the investment to be part of that program?
Well, before we even go that way, I really like people to talk to me one-on-one first. So if people are interested in doing such a course, go to my website. I'm getting ready to link up my scheduler right now. I didn't open days up yet. I'm really trying to do a 30-minute consults that are free.
Okay.
See if you're a good fit, if it's something, that you can get a little closer to me, learn a little bit more about it, see if it's really something that you'd like to do. Because I honestly, until you kind of talk with me and we go through kind of where you are, what's disturbing your life, where would you like to be, it's really hard to recognize, how you're going to invest in yourself until you actually see where you want to be. And right. So that's how I'll do the 30-minute consult. So we can kind of do that deep dive. So you could go to my website, at www.juliabowlin, BOWLIN, MD.com. And at the very bottom, there'll be a little tab about one-on-one consult. Give me a day or two. You can go there now, but I don't have my scheduler opened. The other way, if you want and you're ready to get going, is you can go to my Facebook page. Just look up Julia Bowlin, MD, and you can listen to my vulnerability post, and it tells a little bit about my group coaching, what kinds of things I'm doing, and you can private message me that way, and we can get you into the schedule.
Perfect. And wow. Yeah, and I love the fact that you said, let's have the 30-minute consult first. Because whether or not that program is something that, first of all, people will do. By a show of hands, how many people have invested in a program, spent the money, got the goods, never opened the book, and are wondering why it doesn't work? I think we all have, right? So I love that you take that time to really talk to somebody to see if it's a good fit before you go ahead and say, oh, get my program, because there's so much stuff out there these days. And that's one of the things that I'm loving about you right now. Karen Mayfield says, I'll never admit to such. She's texting me. She's texting me, I'll never admit to such. I have to, sadly, I have to admit to it for far too many times in my life. Oh, I need that program. Oh, I need that program. Oh, I need that program. Really what I needed was to sit down, look within, and see exactly what it is that I already have and I already know that I can bring to the table for myself rather than for anybody else, right?
Right. And I like the personal connection, because I want people in my group that are ready to invest in themselves. And when you're ready to invest in yourself, something happens when you put the money down.
Mm-hmm.
You suddenly become more vested in the success of yourself. So, you know, free programs, I've done free programs, I've done free teachings and all that. And I tell you what, it is sort of like a lollipop. People eat it and it's done, and they don't get much out of it. It's really when you sit down face to face and I develop a relationship and we do the work together, and then we work as a group, that I've just seen unbelievable transformations in people.
Yeah.
People that didn't think they needed it.
Yeah. And you said a key word in there. The keywords: develop a relationship. Develop a relationship. Develop the relationships that are solid. And, you know, in today's day and age, it's like there's so much out there, there's so much available and whatnot. But unless you can actually be heart to heart, soul to soul, relating with somebody who you feel that connection to, I don't think that you get the value out of it. And, you know, like this community, I know a lot of these people on a soul level that come here. You know, I have Karen Mayfield, who's the founder of Wake Up Women, she's texting me. Karen owns a farm, and she's probably got, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 dogs. I have no idea how many dogs she has. She's also a rescue. She's also a rescue for animals. And I have Beth Johnston, the founder of the International Women's Leadership Association, who is actually on the line. She's on the phone. And I'm going to open her line in just a second, because I know that she probably has something to say to you, because you have been recognized you've been recognized by the IWLA as a woman of outstanding leadership. So I'm going to open up Beth's line right now. Beth, are you there?
I am here. Julia, how are you?
Really great to connect.
Yes. I want to say thank you to both you and to Teresa. Your story is such a perfect example of someone who went through an extraordinary experience, who paid attention to it, is willing to share it with others in hope and in belief that in sharing it, you help others. And so much of what the IWLA, you know, believes about is, you know, helping others to become the best that they can come. I would just want your opinion on, I mean, you had such a vivid, it was so detailed memory of this, extraordinary. But would you agree that we all could be looking for signs and symbols in simpler ways as well, that these aha moments, these moments of clarity, really can be around us all of the time in less vivid ways, less, I'll use the word dramatic only because your story is so incredible. But would you agree that that's true, that we should be looking for the smaller things that are really abundantly available to us all the time?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for saying that, because every morning I connect and I ask for my God, my spirit guides, my angels to connect with me, to let me hear and feel. And on a daily basis, we each have the capacity to do what I did, you know, as far as my experience, when you take the time, or every question you have, every heart-centered decision, just open yourself up to listen, because the guidance is there. From the second you wake up, probably even in your sleep, to the second you go to bed. But unless you open up in gratitude, acceptance, and willingness every step of your day, and take those deep breaths of open, expansive, and absorptive points of views, you might skip and miss it every day. It takes the ability to stop, relax, and open up. Thank you for saying that.
Yes, yeah, and thank you for the comment. And also what I always think is that, you know, dreaming about it and pondering it and wishing for it is all wonderful. And it's obviously, if we're doing those things on a conscious basis, it's really embedded in us quite deeply. But what I always say is, don't wait for something to happen just because of that. You got to be willing to do the work, whether it's self-improvement or picking up the phone and calling and making another appointment, or reaching out and having a contrition call, if you will, with someone. In other words, moving past that moment where it just sounds and looks so wonderful. Cause it to actually be wonderful, to become wonderful, because there's two people attached to both of those actions, you and the person who might be on the other end of the phone or whatever. You're really making it a better day for both parties. And that's giving it and receiving it all at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautifully put.
Yes. Thank you, Beth. Always bring value to these conversations. I appreciate you more than you know.
And back at you, girl.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to both of you.
Thank you so much. Oh, wow. Anyone else have something that they'd like to say to Dr. Julia at this point? Barbara Yeager, I see you raising your hand, and this is going to be interesting. I love Barbara. She's one of these people that's in my life, and I know quite well. She's a dear, dear friend, and she works on the soul level with people. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say right now to Julia, or a question you have to ask.
Well, Julia, this is fabulous work. And I mean, you're a pioneer in the medical field for sure. Because what happens is, if you took your prescription pad and you wrote out a prescription and it said, take better care of yourself, people would just look at that and think, you're crazy. What the heck are you doing? I came here for a pill. You've got to give me something. You have to do something for me. And you're really saying that if you take your power back, all things are possible. Healing, understanding, and you know, your story is one of the most compelling stories I have ever heard. But it is about soul, and you return to source, and source reminded you of exactly the power that you decided to bring with you, but you just couldn't see it. And a lot of times I say it's kind of like, you know, something that's covered up in the cat box. Life does that to us. It covers us up in the cat box. And so what happens is that you're all about making sure that people step into their divinity and take power. But really what it is that we don't know how. And your book is so timely, because we do want to love ourselves more. We do want to know ourselves. But I just went through this, I'm doing this course now with Teresa, and I'm getting this total infusion of all of this information. But it's really uplifting me, and it's making me be happy to be me. And you know, look at the power that we have. Every single person on this phone right now, today, is filled with unlimited power and potential. But we don't spend any time looking at it. So thank you so much for having the inspiration and saying, we're going to do this. I'm going to show you how you take your power back. How you already have it. So you're not gaining it. You're just taking it back. You're claiming it. You're uncovering it, you know, because most of us don't know our true potential. And everything that I'm reading and all about healing all goes to that same issue of you can do it. What as I read the other day, the body completely regenerates in, what is it, six weeks? But Deepak Chopra says if you have memories of hurt or harm or something, it completely doesn't let the cell replicate in health. And so this is just powerful work now. And, you know, I have to say, I had this revelation the other day. We all have in our future fifth dimension jobs. We've all gone through our careers. I was an attorney. I'm a recovering attorney. My fifth dimension job is helping people to really see their true soul potential. And I do it through the Akashic Records. And it doesn't matter how you do it. But we all have these fifth dimension jobs that we have to step up into now. We're here. We decided to stay. We're part of this movement. And I applaud you for moving up into your world from the fourth dimension doctor to this amazing new spiritual healing dimension that you're stepping into. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Barbara. Oh, my goodness.
I know, it's amazing.
So much. Something that you said at the beginning of your, at the beginning when we started talking, Julia, was that you are successful because of what you went through, not in spite of what you went through. So, and I think that each one of us, and Barbara will attest to this with her work, and I'm sure you will attest to this with your experience and your work, each one of us goes through what we go through on the road of transformation to get where we need to go with those gifts and talents that we have, because it's part of a divine plan. And you saw that so clearly in your vision that you described to us in such great detail. And I'm so grateful that you went there. I think it was beyond powerful. But I want to ask you to revisit that statement. You are successful because of what you went through, not in spite of what you went through. And I think that that's one of the keys to loving ourselves. Yes?
Yeah, when we can embrace the pain that we went through and forgive people and erase the blame and, you know, acknowledge the fact that we don't have to fulfill every cultural value, which can help us identify and neutralize the shame. You know, it's amazing how each one of these emotional anchors can pull us back and keep our, you know, like Deepak said, you know, on a cellular level, keep us from moving forward and keep us from evolving into our most potential physically, mentally, spiritually. So these emotional anchors are very, very, very powerful, and they cage ourselves up, and we allow that cage to occur. And by unraveling those emotional anchors, it's amazing how much freedom in your head you have and how much lighter you feel in your body and how your vision suddenly gets larger and grandeur, and you stop putting yourself in a box of expectation.
Yeah, and Karen Mayfield just muted me. She wants to share. I'm going to unmute you, Karen, but I just want to acknowledge Julia. Thank you so much. That makes so much sense to me. Emotional anchors and blame and neutralize. I have to tell you, one of my favorite authors, I want to tell you right after I get off this call, I'm ordering your book. I had said I was going to do it before, and I didn't do it, and I'm sorry for that because I could have been so much ahead of the game. But the thing is that I believe that you have some things in that book just from the way that you share and the work that you do and what I've learned about you, because I do investigate my guests. I look at everything that they have out there. I think that your conversation will help a lot of women embrace themselves, embrace who they are, and learn how to love themselves. So, Karen, I have your line open. I see two other people. I have to ask Dr. Julia if she's got a couple of minutes to take those calls. I know she's got patience.
Minutes, because they're already knocking on the door to put patients in this room.
Oh, okay. All right. So Karen, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say thanks so much. I know that this is the message that will fall upon the ears of a lot of women and men too. I think men are kind of getting there. So I just wanted to say thanks. And what you're talking about is what we should be listening to.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you.
Well,
okay. I'll quickly unmute this line. Area code 715. You're unmuted. Go ahead. Hello?
Did you say 715?
I did. Your line is unmuted. Go ahead.
Yes, this is Lorraine from Wisconsin. My question is, were you meditating or had you been accustomed to being in a meditative state when you were able to go to the white room? Or did it just happen?
It literally just happened. There was no meditation going on, but I will say, up until that day, I wasn't ever present in the moment. And that day, since I knew I was done, I was looking at the trees, I was looking at the pond, I was looking at the grass, and I was hearing the birds, knowing it was going to be my last day. So maybe it just opened up that window of possibility that finally allowed the source to jump at me and say, "Come on, girl."
Yeah, I was trying to see what might have been the trigger, because I think there was one, but I'm trying to see if you know what could have been that trigger.
I never sat down by that lake before.
Okay.
And I never looked in it. So that would have been the first. I knew that night was, and I had literally, when I sat down, it was literally like a plop, like, this is it, done. I mean, there was no doubt in my mind that night was going to be the end. So maybe it was just that concrete decision and then being in the present moment.
Wow. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. And I know I have somebody else here. Brooke, this is you. I know this is you. Very quickly, say what you have to say, and then we got to let Dr. Julia go. I want to close and give people the opportunity.
I just want to say thank you. My gosh, I am in such awe of the incredible gifts that you are bringing to this community, Teresa. Wow, wow, wow. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll get the book too. Oh, my.
No.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Thanks,
so much
Brooke.
for the opportunity, and thank you everybody for listening. And this is my passion. My passion is to ignite your passion in the self-care of yourself. So please learn how to love, honor, and cherish yourself, whether it's through me, through the community, through other people. You are worthy.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Julia, so much for your time today. I know you have to go, and encourage everybody to go to juliabowlinmd.com. Bowlin is the correct spelling for her name. Pick up her book. I'll actually put a link on the resource page on Transformational Tuesdays for you, and it will come back in the follow-up call. To me, I thee wed. Yes. All right, great. Excuse me?
It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon. I'll put an Amazon link for you in the replay and on my Facebook page. I know you had to go. Thank you so much, Dr. Julia. I appreciate you more than you know. Love. I will talk with you because I'm going to get that 30-minute call. Thanks. Have a great day. And to all of you, come back next time. And between now and then, enjoy traveling, what I like to call the transformational trails of life. Have a great day.